15 things Americans don't know about Canadians. There's a lot of ideas out there which kind of need to be straightened out, okay? And we're going to do that now. We share the longest border in the world. Unprotected, undefended border, I should add. The border runs through forests, lakes, mountains, prairies, beaver dams. We have a shared backyard. So I'm going to quickly cover 15 important things that Americans don't know about Canadians, okay? Some are fun. Some of them might make you angry even. Some of this is nice to know, but some of these you need to know. And let's get right into it. I have some notes here. Number 1, Canada is bigger than the US, but has fewer people than the state of California. We are the second largest country by land area on Earth, but our entire population, it could fit inside the state of California. That's tough for a lot of people to imagine. It's not that we're antisocial. We just like our personal space. Number 2, Canada has more lakes than the rest of the world combined. Over 60% of the world's freshwater lakes are from Canada. So when you see a map covered in blue, that's not water, that's Canadian real estate. And it's why our beavers are so chill. They basically have waterfront property everywhere. And speaking of beavers, that brings me to number 3, our national animal. Some people think our national animal is a moose or a caribou or a bear. It's none of those. Canada actually has 2 national animals. The U.S. national animal is the bison. Cool. And its national bird is the eagle. Again, very cool. Respect. Our more widely recognized national animal is, of course, the beaver. The Canadian horse is a second. It was declared a national animal in 2002. But the beaver is the OG. And that makes sense. We picked an animal that builds dams, engineers its environment, and is the hardest working animal in the country. Very on brand for Canadians. I'm going to mention our national bird as well, because it's not what most people think it is. It's not the Canada goose, who is often referred to as Canada's Air Force, and it's not hard to figure out why. And it's not the loon. It's the Canada jay. It was officially recognized and declared as Canada's national bird in May 2025. Very recent, the Canada jay. Number 4, we wear toques. It's not a winter hat. The proper terminology is a toque.
Good day. That's a beauty toque you got there. Where'd you get that?
It's not a hat, it's a toque. Number 5, our money. It's different. A dollar coin in Canada is called a loonie. There's a loon on the back. A $2 coin is called a toonie. We got rid of pennies. There's no more cents. If you're picking up a double-double at the drive-thru, for example, and you require change, the number will be rounded up or down. There's no more pennies being handed out, okay? And besides bills, we have nickels, dimes. I was actually talking to a friend, and I asked him what animal was on the back of the quarter, the Canadian corner, and they actually got it wrong. A born and raised Canadian. So I'm going to actually ask you, what animal is this? And I hope you know. I'll tell you at the end. Canadian bills come in bright colors. That's how you can tell them apart. U.S. currency, it's all the same color. For Canadians traveling to the U.S., you got to pay extra close attention to the bills that you're passing out because they all look the same. Number 6, maple syrup. It's practically liquid gold. I know it's cliche, but you can't make a Canadian video and not bring up maple syrup. But there's some facts that you might not know. Canada produces over 70% of the world's maple syrup, and Quebec alone controls most of that, complete with a strategic maple syrup reserve. Yes, we have a maple syrup vault. America has Fort Knox, the Federal Reserve. We have Fort Maple. The reserve, it helps stabilize prices and ensures consistent supply. We take our maple syrup very seriously. There's actually an illegal underground maple syrup market. People trespass and they illegally tap trees for maple syrup. With the price of maple syrup, I can actually see. It makes sense to me. But if there's a demand, there's going to be an underground market for it, like bootlegging. Maybe I should get in on that. Number 7. We have our own Thanksgiving, and it's in October. Our Thanksgiving's a whole month earlier, before the snow hits, and while the leaves are still changing colors. It's very pretty. My all-time favorite Thanksgiving movie is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's based in the U.S., but it stars John Candy, a truly great Canadian. Really, funny guy, overall great human being, truly. And I also think that Thanksgiving is a bigger deal in the U.S. than it is to Canada. And listen, it seemed to be that way as a kid. When we were kids, we would go to, Disney in November during the Thanksgiving season or weekend, I should say. And I couldn't believe how big it was. And back then as a kid, I remember thinking it was almost as big as Christmas. And listen, hey, good on you. But we're thankful first. And of course, that's just because the harvest comes earlier up north. It's really about the timing of the harvest. Number 8, Canadians have our own Veterans Day, which we call Remembrance Day. The focus, it's a little bit different. It's a more solemn occasion in Canada. The poppy is a symbol of Remembrance Day. It's widely recognized right across the country. But unlike America, Remembrance Day is not a national holiday in Canada. It's not a day off from work. I would like it to be, but only if people took the time to, properly recognize and honor those who have served and sacrificed and who continue to serve. I wouldn't want the meaning to get lost. Most schools or businesses, they put on presentations or assemblies. Sometimes a grocery store will make an announcement over the radio or the PA system, and they recognize a moment of silence on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Even hockey games will pause. It's a beautiful thing. Number 9, we have 2 official languages. Canada is officially bilingual. It's not just that people speak English and French. In many jobs, government jobs, the private sector, it's a requirement to be able to speak both languages. There's strict language laws. Some people take it very seriously, and personally too. It's caused some pretty old school hockey style battles. Listen, the gloves come off, but for the most part, everybody gets along. Number 10, hockey isn't our only sport. We actually have 2 national sports, hockey and lacrosse. Hockey in the winter, lacrosse in the summer. Ice hockey. But lacrosse was declared Canada's national sport in 1859 and hockey in 1994. Much more recent. On a side note, I also know that basketball was invented by a Canadian, so there's that. Number 11, the Mounties are real, and they're not just for parades. The RCMP are Canada's federal police, and they're referred to as Mounties. Think of the FBI, but with better manners, colder weather, cooler outfits too. They don't always ride horses, but when they do, they look pretty damn spiffy. If you ever get a chance to watch the Mounties on parade, on display, very impressive. The Mounties are stationed throughout the entire country. They basically have the same investigative units that any other police service would have, or local police service, I should say. They answer radio calls, again, like any other police service. Number 12, we're not as socialist as Americans think. Free healthcare doesn't make us socialists. It just makes us human. And we all know that, listen, nothing's free, okay? Canadians still own businesses. We make money. We pay taxes, sometimes even cheerfully. 13, there's not always snow here. You can almost be forgiven if you get all your information about Canada from TV and the movies. Because when I grew up, I thought that Russia was covered in snow all the time because of Rocky IV. Unless you're in the far north, we have seasons, okay? You may say Canada only has 2 seasons, too damn hot and too damn cold, and maybe that's not too far off, but no, it's not always cold. But in the West Coast, near Vancouver, you can ski in the morning, play golf in the afternoon, all on the same day. Again, the country's so vast, different weather patterns throughout the entire country. And also, I might as well talk about this while I'm on the subject. Canadians who travel to the U.S. for winter, usually to Florida, they're referred to as snowbirds. Number 14, poutine is practically a religion. Poutine, fries, gravy, and cheese. But not just any cheese. Real cheese curds, which squeak when you bite into them. Sometimes I just buy a bag of cheese curds and eat them. They're so rubbery. They're very, very good. But yes, poutine. And it's not a side dish either. It's a main course. It's a way of life. We even judge fake poutine. 15, Canadians really do say a lot. Americans are more apt to say y'all. Canadians, they really do say a quite often when it's pointed out to me. And it can mean so many different things. But we say a after a sentence or a statement, not because we're unsure of what we just said, but we're just checking to make sure you're still with us there, eh?
Oh, jeez.
Maybe we ought to just start over again, eh?
I don't think we have time, eh?
Good day.
When I decided to make this video, I started off with like 5 things and then 10, and here we are 15. But so many more things come to mind when I'm talking about it. And listen, I had to leave out a lot of good ones just because in the interest of time, I would lose half the people. But if you would like a part 2, please let me know in the comments. I could go on and on. So if you're an American, tell me in the comments, what's one thing that Canadians don't know about you? And listen, tell me where you're from too as well. I want to see who's repping from where. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. And listen, until the next video, keep your socks dry and your toucan straight. A soaker, that's another one that somebody reminded me of a while ago. A soaker is a Canadian term. You need to know what that is. Listen, folks, see you soon. Until the next, stay sharp, stay safe, stay Canadian. Good day, eh? Listen, I had to come back and record this because I forgot to do something. I said I would tell people what the animal was on the back of the quarter. I don't think you could see that. And I forgot. It's not an elk. It's not a moose. It's the caribou. And interesting enough, there's 2 different ways to spell caribou. There's the caribou, the animal way, and then caribou is a place in British Columbia, and that's spelled differently than the animal way. Listen, thanks. Have a good day. I'm sorry.